There's that Funky Live guitar music. It comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on the Evil FB Network. YouTube, check us out, subscribe, type in iNewsWire, Roy Blecker. You see my nice smiling face on this practice Friday. Man, another day, another 10 gazillion stories rolling out the pike on that. Trump says he's got a deal with Iran on the nuclear weapons and all that whole noise. We'll give you an update on that. We'll see if it comes out. Plus, they're saying Israel and Lebanon are going to run into peace talks that he's going to oversee. So we'll see how it works out on the foreign policy front out there. Brand new poll, first one really out after the spy, Eric Swalwell, bailed out of the California governor's race and sent the Democrats into a bigger tizzy than they already were. Oil giant gives Newsom the middle finger and offers a rare peek into inside gas lifeline, which we're getting the quality of life in Los Angeles and probably California is its lowest level in over a decade. Survey finds. Man, we got a lot of stuff. Clarence Thomas. Blast progressivism as a threat to America. The great. Clarence Thomas. He may be the greatest Supreme Court justice of all time. If not, he's got to be in the top 3. Thieves drill gas tanks to steal gas. Hopefully the gas price will get down and the puke thieves that are doing this, you know, they're stealing $50, $100 worth of gas and it's going to cost you $2-3 grand to get your gas tank replaced. It's absolutely flippin' insane. But the flock, his mistress and his wife, oh, what a tangled web we weave of this. This is rolling down, I think, in good old Costa Mesa, home of the world-famous Speedway track. It's fairgrounds, but here's the CBS 2 report. Hopefully, here we go.
A police officer is caught using police cameras to spy on his mistress.
Mike Rogers, there were already privacy concerns about these cameras, and then this happens.
And, you know, this guy was accused of spying on his mistress's new lovers, as well as his current wife, all happening in the city of Costa Mesa. We'll show you some video.
He's spying on his mistress, his wife, his mistress boyfriend. I don't know if the wife had a boyfriend or what the hell was going on here. This guy must have been, wow. Talk about busy. Who's got that kind of energy on top of being a cop? Here we go.
Here of the flock system cameras that we are talking about. The flock cameras have been wildly controversial, especially recently when there was a data issue that came to light. But the Orange County DA's office says this former Costa Mesa police officer not only used these flock cameras to track his mistress, her new boyfriends, as well as his current wife, but also used confidential law enforcement systems to be able to run people a number of times that had nothing to do with his work as a law enforcement officer.
This is a big no-no. Especially using this, and this is the one concern if they're using the flock stuff for this, and that was a big concern. We had that when they put cameras in here and they were blocking out all the windows, and it seems when they had our citywide camera system. Now that we got the flock system going, I'm very concerned now at what's going on. I guess he's a former cop now, but using it to track not only his girlfriend, his mistress, but his mistress's boyfriends and his wife and others. I mean, he's out having a good old time, stooping the mistress. What was he worried about? You know, the wife had another lover or something while he's doing this stuff. This is an intriguing story. Hopefully, here we go.
They also allege that he contacted his mistress thousands of times via social media, text, and phone calls, as many as 100 times in one day.
100 times he's texting the side chick? Those ought to be made public. Oh, man. Well, if he's getting arrested, I wonder if he's getting arrested or so. I hope he's getting arrested and this all comes out with evidence. I mean, you talk about Jerry Springer on top of salacious this, TMZ that. Holy cow.
Just for one example here, Robert J. Josette, 35 years old, pleaded guilty to 3 misdemeanor counts as related to all of this. He's been ordered for a 52-week domestic violence program, as well as 3 years of informal probation. Now, they allege that he repeatedly was sending messages to her, texting her, calling her through social media and the phone, sometimes as many as 58 times a day. He then began calling her new boyfriend.
Hold it. He's only pleading to misdemeanors on this. Now, we're going to have a big discussion with the cops and the DAs and stuff about this. This guy should have been prosecuted to the full extent of the law. You need to send a message to the other cops, hey, don't do this crap. Not, hey, you're abusing this system in that manner. And this is total abuse. This is ridiculous. He only got 3 misdemeanors.
Friend, and then would allegedly use these systems to try to track them down, and then in some cases go meet them at those locations. The Orange County DA says even after he was suspended from Costa Mesa PD, he still used the flock camera system to track his mistress. All of this now, he's a former police officer and now has pleaded guilty to these 3 misdemeanor counts related to it.
Where did he find the time, Mike? Incredible.
When he was suspended, he had some more time.
Indeed. Okay, Mike.
When he was suspended. He's tracking down his mistress, then go meeting, finding out where she's at with his mistress's boyfriend, other boyfriend, or whatever. This is so tangled it's hard to keep up with. And then he's going and meeting them. Man, what a bizarre story. But on top of that, 110,000%. This is total bullcrap of him only getting 3 misdemeanors. This should be felony. There should be a gazillion felony counts every time he's doing this. Every time he's using the camera should be another felony. I had to check the law. But if it isn't, he should have been prosecuted for a misdemeanor of every one of them. And then sentenced consecutively to 5,432, or whatever the number is, that he was abusing the public trust. We can't have these, we cannot. No, in no way can we stand for this. In no way can we send a signal, oh, we're just going to give you a light tap on the wrist and say, bad boy. If he's convicted of a misdemeanor, he can still get a job, another job as a cop. As far as I know, having a misdemeanor, the other cops that I recall have been hired even though they've had misdemeanors. A misdemeanor does not preclude you from being a peace officer, holding a lot of positions in trust. Felonies, yes. So we're going to dig deeper in the well, as we say, in this little rendition, but this is beyond flipping out of control. Another one I want to get to while we're at it is this puke thieves. And hopefully we'll get to Trump, and hopefully the Iran and the Lebanon and the Israeli thing is getting all solved. Get to that in a few. These puke thieves that are sitting there, drilling gas tanks to steal gas, to steal 50, 100. In the best case, okay, so you got a 30, 40 gallon, 35 gallon tank in your diesel at $7. You know, you're up, well, you can get over 200 if the thing was completely full. And it's going to cost you $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 to replace your gas tank. So once they drill a hole in it, it's junk. Here's a Fox 11 report. Here we go.
One truck owner with thousands of repair bills after thieves drilled straight into his fuel tank. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf has the exclusive video. The warning every driver needs to hear.
This is something people could need to be on the lookout for. Thieves drilling holes in the gas tanks to steal fuel from cars, a possible new crime trend.
You know, just when, although there still is, you know, we got a handle on the catalytic converter. Darryl Terrell's been out with all the cities getting the ordinances in, so it's, yeah, the penalties are up there and all that good stuff. And that seemed to be calmed down a lot. You know, you don't hear guys and gals going by, you know, sounding like they're at the Indy 500 or something because, you know, somebody whacked out their catalytic converter. Now we got ding-dong puke thieves drilling your gas tank to get 50, 100 bucks of gas or diesel out of it.
Well, got me.
The sinking moment, a man in Long Beach realizes someone didn't just steal his gas, they drilled a hole straight through his tank to get it.
I've heard about people siphoning gas like with a hose, but never drilling into the gas tank. Look at that hole.
Jose Figueroa says he filled up Sunday, but Monday morning his tank was empty.
Consistent stream of gasoline.
At the gas station, he quickly realized why, with fuel pouring out like a shower from underneath his truck.
I hear like, it was like when you have a faucet running, and I look down and there's just gasoline all over.
The hole about the size of a dime, even covered with tape.
They taped it up.
The cost far worse than the crime itself.
Oh, man. And I mean, they mentioned the old siphoning hose trick that many have pulled off back in the day. Okay, even if you siphon someone's, if you get 50 or 100 bucks worth of gas, okay, in most people's cases, you know, you're going to have a bad day and you're going to be a little bit PO'd about it. But, you know, you go down, like this guy probably figured, okay, you know, got ripped for that. I'm going to go down to the gas station. He does that. The tape thing over the thing is absolutely hilarious. Like, what? The gas is not going to, when the guy fills it up. I don't know. That's, I mean, you know, I guess he had enough, you know, probably because there's a little reservoir tank or kind of boxing tank that when you get low that it keeps it around the fuel pump. So if he was close to, you know, within a mile or two of a gas station, he obviously had enough gas to get there, like he says, there, insult and injury. Now he's up there at the gas station, and like he said, he's putting gas in, and all of a sudden you see you said like coming out with a hose, and you see all the gas running out, and you're thinking, oh, crime. $2,000, I think it was, to repair it.
How much do you think they took from you?
It was $80 worth of gas, but the repairs are like $2,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they apparently they can't like. You can't patch that up.
This happened right next to Drake Park, where cameras are always watching. Despite that, neighbors tell me crime is common.
It's not only stealing gas, but it's breaking the cars, breaking into houses, drive like crazy, like they were in the freeway. So it's really bad.
I don't know. It's just no one. We have the study from KTLA 5. We'll get to you here in a bit. Quality of life. Worse it's been in a decade, probably 3 or 4 decades in Los Angeles. And it's getting that way practically everywhere in the state. We better get our S together. We got these elections coming up June 2nd, voting starting in a couple weeks. Get your friends, neighbors, ballot harvesting. I don't care what you got to do. We got to take control in this election cycle. Get off your dead asses and get out there and get something done. No more excuses, no more this, no more tick, 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 tick on the phone. Throw the damn thing away. Get in there to something that's going to improve your frickin' quality of life so you don't have to deal with this crap. You come out there and, oh, not only is your gas gone, so that's $50, $100, $2,000 plus. to replace your gas tank. And even if you got insurance, most people got $1,000 deductible. It's going to cost you that, and then your insurance rates are going to go up. Vaya caramba! Get your act together. We'll get to this and much, much more here. Man, what a practice Friday. Yes, it is. And we do. We're going to get to the quality of life story. Like the young lady said at the end of the deal on the gas thieves. Not only are they doing this, they're stealing the gas. They're breaking into cars. They're doing donuts in the middle of the street. You got hoodlums just running roughshod all over the freaking place. And it's no wonder you have headlines like this. Quality of life in LA County at its lowest level in over a decade, survey finds. Well, that's probably because they only went back 11 or 12 or 13 years, because it's probably worse multiple decades. Here, we're going to start with the KTLA 5 report. Here we go.
Since fine quality of life in LA County is at its lowest level, sorry, Frank, in more than a decade. 52% of people say they are dissatisfied. Education, transportation, and cost of living all have seen steep declines. They rank as top concerns.
Well, again, why do you peeps sit on your freaking hands? Your education system sucks. Your roads are crumbling. They're stealing money out of your pocket, the government, right and left. Taxation is theft. They're not only ruining your life, your kids' future, and their kids' future lives are going to keep deteriorating if we do not do anything about it. You cannot hire Karen Bass and Nithian Rahman and Democratic Socialists and Gavin Newsom and Isaac Bryan and little Corey Jackson and whomever. Just because they've infiltrated your head with, yeah, people like me are just mean, and we're the evil. Every evil in the frickin' history of the world was caused by somebody that looks like me. And you're going to get back at them. And if you don't care if you've got to burn everything to the frickin' ground, because that's what it is. Your whole ICE thing, supporting all these pukes that are trying to intimidate and all this other stuff, and trying to destroy our country, and hell with our laws and our culture and everything else, we're going to make you a slave. Nothing but what Mason Weaver has been on the show many times said was going to happen. Keep you on the plantation. Here we go.
For us, 6 of the 9 categories of stuff to worry about are at their lowest levels on record. Nearly all of them showing declines year over year. Sentiment really started falling at the height of COVID. Fears also around immigration enforcement and the lingering effects.
6 out of 9 at their lowest ever. What did I tell you? I predicted it. I hadn't even heard this. I just saw the clip, put it up there just before the show. 6 of the 9 categories at their lowest ever. I said in the last decade. Forever! Since recorded human history. I don't know, what do you want to go back 10,000 years, a million, whatever you want to believe or thinking that everybody comes up with? It's a long time. At least in the existence of things on planet Earth. At least living things. But it's immigration. They're all jacked up about they got a percentage of people jacked up about this ICE stuff and all this, and they're doing it just like they were with the George Floyd and baby Jesus and supporting that here in Moreno Valley. They are the agitators. Remember, Ulysses, baby Jesus Cabrera, mayor of Moreno Valley, California. We are the resistance to those who speak American.
Fears also around immigration enforcement and the lingering effects of the 2025 wildfires abound. Hard not to say I see you. There's a lot.
Hard not to say I see you. Who is this ding dong on KTLA? He should be saying, why aren't you out there with pitchforks and torches demanding this stuff be fixed? Why are you voting for the same, no, worse, stupid people to represent you in your government year after year after year? 6 of the 9, 2/3, 2-1. Worst case ever.
A lot of legitimate problems that I think people are feeling and that they're suffering with. And I think having been here for 15 years, it hurts sometimes to think about the world that I came to LA in and what it feels like now. And
what do you, oh, look at this guy. Oh, it hurts a little bit. Why aren't you saying, why don't you look in there, sonny boy, and tell people in the camera, why are you, the vast majority of you, so frickin' stupid? Why are you so afraid of your own shadow, you won't do nothing, you just grab your ankles and say, please poke me in the rear end more, harder, because that's what they're doing.
Don't know if that's cynicism. I don't know if that's being old and having to pay property tax. But I would like to know if there's...
Yeah, dude. Oh, don't you like paying all these? I bet you, I could almost bet you this guy was out there. Oh, we gotta be, these old guys like, hey, Boomer and Roy and all that. You guys are a bunch of idiots. Every problem is based on you. Oh, now that you gotta pay the property tax, it's like, holy crap.
Things that you are happy about, and things that make you happy living here in LA. What makes it worth it still? You can...
Yeah, people need to give Andy what's their take. Shoot him a message saying, you know what, Andy? Grow some freaking balls. And the rest of you need to grow some freaking balls and stand up for this stuff. Like right here in Moreno Valley. Only one person, guess who? Stood up. And since I said that about Cabrera, we are the resistance, what he said. We are the resistance to those who speak American. It's exactly what he said. And nobody else is like, well, they ignore it like it didn't happen. He wants, and the whole crew want to destroy your way of life, Andy. Get some hair back on your balls, bud, and get out there and get in the frickin' fight. Now that I got to pay property tax, maybe those knuckle-dragging hillbillies weren't so far off they possibly, I hesitate to thought. They might have been right. Told you it was going to be a fun practice Friday. Oh my. Oil giant gives Newsom the middle finger and offers rare peek inside California's gas lifeline. Yeah, Andy. It isn't that, electric cars and everything's going to be free, and they're going to be free grocery stores and free this and free electricity and all that. Abraham Lincoln was exactly right. What's taught in schools today is going to be your government and your world tomorrow. 150 years ago, old Honest Abe said that. And if no truer words were ever spoken, that's got to be in the top 3. That's even better than 100 years ago, or whatever the hell it was back then, his famous speech on slavery. That right there is probably even more profound and important. And of course, Trump opened up over. The one good thing about the Iran war, he opened up the oil out of Santa Barbara and Bakersfield. In the CA Post, during the exclusive visit to newly reopened platforms out off the coast of Santa Barbara, where we have that great light sweet crude, which is very easily turned into gasoline and diesel that you can put in your tank when some idiot is not drilling holes in it. And you can get to work and drive your kids in school and go to the beach maybe on Monday, or out to Glamis, or up to the mountains, or whatever. Or to Disneyland. Or just maybe you can afford a Big Mac at McDonald's or something. During the exclusive visit, newly reopened platforms, where oil was once again flowing through the offshore pipelines in Santa Barbara following a Trump executive order. The California Post sat down with the facility's executive, who offered a pointed but measured response to the Democratic outcry at the decision, which is still facing legal action. Of course, B.S. Rob Bonta and all that, and Gavin Newsom are trying to shut it down. We have a perfect, safe restart of the pipeline. J. Caldwell Flores, president and COO of Seville Offshore, told the Post. I wonder if J. Caldwell Flores is one of those evil white boys. He's getting the oil. He's pumping the oil, and nothing's happening, and everybody's benefiting. We recognize we're providing a necessary service to California and the country as a whole. We love the oil derricks. These beautiful oil derricks should be from coast to coast. From San Diego to Seattle, Washington. I don't care if there's one every 100 frickin' feet. As long as gas is back down to $1, maybe maximum of $2 a gallon, where it should be. About 100 new jobs have been created, 200 are expected. It's Sabel's another 60,000 barrels per day, may be small compared to the U.S. consumption of about 20 billion barrels, but significant for California. The state's oil production has fallen about 75% since the 80s. Yeah, when it was under $1 a gallon. This starting it up is just the first salvo that needs to be done. Gavin Newsom has restricted domestic supply of oil and gas. He has made California more dependent on foreign oil. He has imposed taxes and fees and mandates that make California gasoline expensive. This is from J. Caldwell Flores. When including federal taxes in this, the burden of California drivers is 90 cents a gallon. False, no. Fact check, false. It's $2.50 a gallon and rising. When you get all the fees and taxes and charges and time cleanliness and what the refiners pay and all the other stuff. Don't know why people cannot get in to give the accurate figures. In May 2025, 6 platform Harmony wells began flowing in Las Flores Canyon for storage, depending on approval of the restart of the onshore pipeline. On March 13, Trump issued the executive order directing the Defense Production Act to authorize Sabel Offshore to resume operations. The next day, they were working on it. California is really stuck on its own. That's where we land in critical infrastructure of national security standpoint, because there are about 50 air bases, naval bases, and army bases on the West Coast that are supplied directly by California domestic production, Flores said. Being dependent on foreign imports, that may not show up, as we have seen in the last month, is not good national security posture at all. So all you eco freaks, Sierra Clubbers, stuff it up your freaking ass. You're going to kill us. You're going to put us back in the cave. You are going to environmentally destroy the area. You are going to kill people. You are going to shorten their lives with your idiotic, stupid policies. I know you've been taught in this. That's why Abe Lincoln was right. You were taught in this from the jackass school teachers to the idiots that were politicians that pushed this in the schools of that. And we, the people, do not have enough balls or guts or intestinal fortitude to go about there. So please don't hurt us. Here's some more money so you can screw us up some more. This stuff is absolutely, cantankerously ridiculous, beyond repair. Touch a little of the foreign policy stuff. This is Trump earlier today. Hopefully, here we go.
The big thing we have to do is we have to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, because if they do, you want to talk about problems, you'd have problems. So very important is that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that. Iran's agreed to that, and they've agreed to it very powerfully. They've agreed to give us back the nuclear dust that's way underground because of the attack we made with the B-2 bombers. So we have a lot of agreement with Iran, and I think something's going to happen very positive.
Let's hope so. They also announced that Israel and Lebanon have done a ceasefire, which should help the Iran thing and everything, and hopefully that all gets done. It cannot get done soon enough. As I've said, if he isn't the most magnificent, wisest Supreme Court justice in the history of the Supreme Court of the United States, he's in the top 3. Clarence Thomas. He warned us that progressivism is a threat to America. This is what Abraham Lincoln was talking about. What's taught in the classroom today is going to be the future you're living tomorrow. Lock, stock, and barrel. He gave a speech here recently on this yesterday.
At the beginning of the 20th century, a new set of first principles of government was introduced into the American mainstream. The proponents of this new set of first principles, most prominent among them, the 28th President of our country, Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson, Mr. Progressive. He, back in 100 years ago, started this. And we are living the absolute destruction of this 100 years later. And we the people absolutely deserve. We reap what we sow, let's put it that way. And we're getting some of the worst policies from what was stated. And we never learn. It doesn't seem. Any of these lessons of history. We keep trying to repeat them. Yet, more each day, we keep, I don't know what's wrong with us. Let's go.
And truths and first principles of government obscure. Intellectuals want you to believe that our founding principles are matters of esoteric philosophy or sophisticated debate. Even those who support them too often talk about them as if they were academic playthings. They overcomplicate them, take the spirit out of them.
There you go. One of the wisest men who've ever sat on our Supreme Court. Deepest thinker. And they all thought he was stupid. First 20 years in the Supreme Court, he never asked a question. And they all said, oh, he's dumb and stupid. You look at his opinions and writings, they are strictly in line with the Constitution, with the principles, and with the successes that built the greatest country in the history of the world.
Well, I think I'll quit while I'm ahead. Thank you all very much. President Davis, Provost and Bowden, equally outstanding. Greg's widow and I have many wonderful friends. Was universally believed among those blacks with whom I lived and who had very little or no formal education that in God's eyes and under our Constitution,
And the audio's starting to go crazy on that, and I don't know why. But he basically said 100 years ago, Woodrow Wilson destroyed this country, or what you're seeing today, is the progressivism, the stupidity, like Scott, people drilling holes in gas tanks to steal $100 in gas and cost you $2,000 to fix it. Oil, we got more oil, we should be swimming in it in California. And we're letting it sit under the ground while we're buying foreign oil at ridiculous prices. Each and every day we keep repeating stupidity. And we keep trying to prove this. Day after day after day. This is Antonio Villaraigosa, former mayor of Los Angeles, running for governor under the Democratic Party. California is unaffordable. It happened under Democrats' watch. This wasn't because of Donald J. Trump. That is Antonio Villaraigosa. Elena. Well, we can't ask your late mother, but she was, let's say, very close to Villar. Brought him out here, had him on stage here in Moreno Valley at the State of the City. And he's telling you, California is unaffordable. It happened under our Democrats' watch. It wasn't because of Trump. All this BS, the rhetoric, the stupidity. Oh, I hate Trump. Gavin Newsom, Rob Bonnet, Corey Jackson, Ulysses Cabrera, Erling Gonzalez, Gracie Torres, all of them. Clarissa Cervantes, Sabrina Cervantes. Oh, it's all Trump's fault. Trump, 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 Trump. We'll go argue with Tony Villar, mayor of Los Angeles, Democrat. California's problems are not Donald J. Trump. They're not Roy. They're not the evil white hillbillies. Look at Kaufman and Broad, Eli Broad, who financed a lot of these Democrats. What did they do yesterday? Picked up their big 152-story or whatever deal is in L.A. and says, we're out of here. We're going to Tempe, Arizona. Home of the Tempe tornado, Leland McSpadden. Go check that out. So what you should be doing is knowing stuff like that instead of this crap we're doing on your 3x5 screen. Learn how to enjoy life like we used to. We can have this back. It wouldn't take long if we get our...
30 seconds.
And hopefully we'll do that in the next 30 seconds. As Jesse said, we'll be on the Mighty Met KMT. We'll pick up some... We'll start getting into the new poll that came out, the first one since the spy Swalwell got elected. And the ramifications of that. And more on the rest of today's show on this Practice Friday.
5 seconds. Here we go.
Here we go.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the aforementioned AM band, joining our vast video audience on the Evil Lippy Network. YouTube, check us out, subscribe, type in IE Newswire on those channels, and you see my nice smiling shining face coming up, and you can get all our archives and all that good stuff. The cop, the flock, his mistress, and his wife. Cop, they give him 3 misdemeanors. He's spying on his girlfriend, his girlfriend's boyfriends, his wife, and other people. Go visiting the side chick while she's with his boyfriends, and he gets off with 3 misdemeanors. We got to have a talk with the cops, and the district attorneys, and the U.S. attorneys, and the state attorneys. This guy should be in bars for the rest of his life. We cannot let cops use that kind of surveillance. If he gets away with 3 misdemeanors, that's basically saying, you know what, we're just going to go, tap on there, don't do that again. Because if you're a misdemeanor, as far as I know, he could become a cop again. Or a lot of other positions. He should be behind bars for the rest of his life for doing it. Hundreds of times and this and that. It wasn't just one. I could see if you just did it once or twice or something and, hey, don't, This guy would, 100 times he's texting and doing this every day. Along with the puke that drills in the guy's gas tank. Gets $50, $100 worth of gas. It costs to do $2,000 or more to get it fixed. The quality of life. Worst it's ever been in 6 or 9 areas in history in Los Angeles County. And you're going to elect Karen Bass or even Nithian Rahman. You won't get behind Spencer Pratt. Moreno Valley, you're going to elect Ulysses Baby Jesus Cabrera who said, "We are the resistance to those who speak American." Even Tony Villar, Antonio Villaraigosa, former mayor of Los Angeles, good friend and colleague of the late Victoria Bach out here in Moreno Valley. And he said this: California is unaffordable. It happened under our Democrats' watch. This wasn't because of Donald Trump. Everybody that's trying to blame everything on Trump because you can step up the political ladder to screw us, at best, does not deserve even one vote, and if they've done anything illegal, they should be prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law. Nobody should have anything to do with them. You should not talk to them. You should not praise them. You should not hire them or go to their... If they have a company, don't go to it. Make them beg for forgiveness for the rest of their frickin' life. New poll. First poll coming out. After the spy Swalwell was forced out of the rape over the rape and other allegations coming on. Shakes up the California governor's race and the debate stage. Well, finally the Channel 5 debates coming on. Remember, they had the controversy with that, and so they redid the poll. So now the 6 that are going to be in are going to be Steve Hilton, Psycho Chick Porter, Javier Baccaria, the Stooge Steyer, Mumbles Matt Mahan, and Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. This all came about because of a new poll that just hit, their poll from Emerson College, which leans left. But for the college polls, it's probably about as good as you're going to get. So this is the first poll out since the spy Swalwell dropped out of the race. Now we're going to get into the numbers, but what do you see? Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, 1 and 2. What did I tell you? Don't listen. Well, listen to them. Take it with all of the salt at the Bonneville Salt Flats. These complete moron idiots or disingenuous a-holes that try to force feed you stupidity. And that comes from both sides of the aisle, in the media, because they were, remember when Swalwell dropped it? Oh, top 2 is dead. It's not going to happen. Well, lo and behold, first poll out of the gate. Steve Hilton, number 1. Chad Bianco, number 2. 16, almost 17%, 14%. Tom Steyer just barely crawling on 14%. Javier Baccaria, 10.3. He was at 3 or 4%. He was at 3% in this last poll, jumped to 7. Katie Porter, 10%. Matt Mahan, 2. Antonio Villaraigosa, 2.5. Betty Yee, 1.4. Tony Thurman, which they polled, which had dropped out too, the same time Swalwell did. Notice what I said. This support. I said most likely the Swalwell support was going to go all through that, and the bottom feeders would be the ones who would most likely gain in that. What do? Baccaria, he was the best, got 7. Mahan got 2. Tony V stayed the same. Steyer stayed basically the same from the last poll. They didn't And they should have kept, because Eric Swalwell should be polled because he's going to be on the ballot. And I'm going to say he's probably going to get between 5 and 10%. So most of the Swalwell's 13% that he had in this last poll, 7% of it went to Baccaria. Maybe 1% or 2 to Porter and Matt Mahan. The other 5%, like I've said, is still voting for Eric Swalwell. Now, I defied, this is what I said. When this stuff, I said, do not believe the yo-yo pundits that are coming out. Take a couple weeks. It's going to take a couple weeks to shake this out. And then vote. And that's right when voting starts. But the first poll out of the gate stamps everything I said on Monday. Happening to a T, like the top two. Everybody said I was crazy a year ago. Here we are 2 weeks before the vote. And Steve and Chad are still 1 and 2. And I told you that support is going to dissipate. The Swalwell support is not going to, most likely, not going to consolidate behind one candidate. And here you are. Look at this. First poll, and Emerson is a pretty decent poll. Like I say, it tilts. If they can skew it left, shade it left, they will do, and they pretty much do. But they're not Survey Monkey like that one that had, that was ridiculous that Mahan was trying to do. That was complete. That's just, what numbers you want on the poll? Yeah, here it is. They're pretty decent. They were not my favorite pollster, and I take it they're trying to shade this as left, so I'm saying Steve and Chad's lead is more than that. Of course, the 23% undecided at this point in a California governor's race is probably unprecedented. Maybe the 89 race with Checky and Harmon and Gray Davis, which he won, and they told everybody was trying to get him to drop out. I mean, I could see why Tony Thurmond dropped out. He's getting 1 to 0%, and he's a complete buffoon on top of it. Now all of them are going to start spending. Now you're going to, Villar's making a big ad buy, $2 million, I think. Mahan's forces are going to dump about $20 million in the next couple of weeks. Who knows how much Steyer's already, put, I don't know if he spent it all. He's put $120 million plus in that. Baccaria doesn't have any money, or not much, but he's going to use this to put the pressure on, and maybe Pelosi's going to consolidate with him, because I know she absolutely hates Katie Porter. I don't think she likes Steyer. He probably doesn't, not real red hot on Mahan because he's been criticizing her boy, gay boy Gavin. I don't know what her opinion on Betty E is, so maybe she's going to put some horsepower behind that. But remember, Gavin Newsom, according to the CNN piece, he said Baccaria was a terrible attorney general, or that's what was indicated in there for reports that were going on. So again, it does my heart great to see that now the Sucky Six, as we're going to call them, they're still scrambling. Just as we predicted. Here's just Democrats. Steyer 20, Baccaria 15, Porter 15, Mahan 6. Look, it all pretty much evenly. Baccaria a little bit more, Steyer a little bit, Mahan, Independents, Steyer 16, Hilton 15, Bianco 14, Porter 10. This is a wide open race. Republicans, this is what I've told you. Hilton 48, Bianco 40. I told you, the Republican, center-right, freedom, liberty types that are dug in. If you're supporting Steve Hilton, you're going down with the ship. If you're supporting Chad Bianco, you're going down with the ship. It is now more important. And let's see, and I'm not saying this is cast in stone, but the first poll out confirms everything I said on Monday after the spy Swalwell, and it never made a sound. Tony Thurman dropped out. The first poll is confirming exactly what I said would happen. So let's see how it shakes out. We'll get some. Obviously, I'm sure that this week people have been polling. Just that Emerson's the first one to drop the salvo. They must have been working on this thing they just did it like Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday, and they dropped it because they did it 14 and 15, and they dropped it today. So they just wanted to be the first out. So we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the polls do. I'm curious, and I'm sure they're going to drop another one within the next 2 weeks before the election starts and see how it compares to this and what everybody else comes up with and their credibility. But if this trend holds, top two in June, Steve and Chad, being the winners coming out of the June primary, is getting more likely every day. We've got to do it. So those who are politically astute, undecided, wanting to win, and that's why I'm not, if you're voting for Steve and you're committed to Steve or Chad, fine. Those are votes we have in the bank. Those of us who are politically astute, or get your friends and neighbors of that, we got to wait or look at how this thing is shaken out, maybe a couple weeks into the election, see who needs a vote. If Steve Hilton's pulling out a little bit, then we get more people to vote for Chad. If Chad's pulling out, we get a little bit more to vote for Steve. If they're still staying even, then we're going to have to play a little bit. Okay, you vote for Steve, you vote for Chad. And then see how it shakes out. But at this point, it is even stronger now than before when Swalwell was in. It is stronger today. The top two in June can become a reality after June 2nd. It's up to us to make it happen. Quit watching the porno and all the crap on the 3x5 screen and actually use it for a tool to improve your quality of life. Get out there. If you're not registered to vote, register to vote. Get your friends, family, enemies, I don't care who they are. If they're breathing, 18 years old or over, and eligible to vote, get them signed up. And let's put this salvo across the world that will not only save or rebuild or improve the quality of life in California, but the nation and the world. It's how important the boundaries of the once golden state of California are. And it's about time that we use some portion of our brains and physical ability and not just take the dopamine drug hit of whatever you're getting and manipulated by all the 3x5 screen and all the stupid stuff that goes on. Say, you know what? Screw you people. We are not doing stupid. We're done with it. Or you're going to get more of this. This just dropped by the great Ashley Zavala from KCRA3. California Senate Democrats propose new health care tax on major companies. Now, maybe they're not going to, maybe with all the scandal and the vote thing going on, maybe maybe they don't think they're going to qualify the billionaires tax for November. So this is plan B. And they're going to say, oh, we're going to tax the big corporations and they're making too much money in that. You know what? If you drive a Uber, if you use the 3x5 screen, if you use a tech company and Google and X and Facebook and YouTubes and TikToks and all that, it's going to cost you. That money that they are being charged, or if that tax goes through, you, the consumer, are going to pay it. It's going to permeate. Even if you don't pay for TikTok, the ads that they sell to the company that's selling you toilet paper to toothpaste are going to go up because they're going to charge more for the advertising to cover the tax. This is called Economics 101. This is what they didn't teach in your school, or haven't taught for decades. Like Abraham Lincoln said, and he was exactly right. What's taught in this school today is going to be the reality you're living tomorrow. It's going to be the politics of tomorrow. It's going to be the philosophy of government tomorrow. And you can take it to the bank because you're living it and you're watching it play out. That's why we got to turn this thing around, not only everywhere. Quit listening to the nattering nay-bombs of negativism on both sides. And, you know, I've said it. I'm not as happy as I was in Trump 2.0 the first 6 months. There's been a few things that I have not been happy about. But hopefully we'll get this stuff reeled back in. And no matter what, we would be in far worse shape if Kamala Harris is, because the philosophy in the classroom would be for total government control. And that philosophy will what you would be living in the next generation. So it's time for a little hillbilly education. This stuff really, the nuts and bolts of it can be complicated if you're trying to figure out how this and that. The philosophy of it, or the truth of it, is fairly simple. Just like Abraham Lincoln said, the free market works. The free market wins in the end, one way or the other. You may be able to manipulate it. Every progressive, social, tin horn dictatorship, communist, progressive, whatever you want to name it, society has failed. Why? Because you cannot beat Mother Nature, the free market, or the natural forces. Period. End of story. Full stop. Which I hate those terms. But I'm using it to emphasize what the stupids try to do to get you to control you. Because they say, oh, well, just be... And what they're saying is, when they say those words, Oh, you are not to question this, you are to obey. And that's what they're doing. And that's why they want your kids stupid. So they will be much more subservient and much more easier to get them to obey. Somebody that's starving to death is going to do practically anything to get a bite to eat. Somebody who has lots of wealth and stuff behind them, and you say, well, I'm just going to come over and take your stuff, they're going to say, no, you're not. Guess what? Economic wealth brings prosperity, brings quality of life, a higher quality of life, and gives you the freedom to be the best you can be. Anything else is the philosophical equivalent to sawing perfectly good body parts off of your body. Whether that be fingers, breasts, penises, or whatever. That's the equivalent of this, of what they are trying to do to you. That's what the whole movement about the trannies and all that, and getting the kids and convincing them, and you can't hear about it, da-da-da-da-da. It's going to be a very interesting maybe tumultuous. Some of it's not going to be pretty. But unless, as you see the big list of taxes, if you want them to just completely have everything, you better get in the ballgame. Before they take away your little toys, even your 3x5 screen, and then reality's really going to smack you upside the head. We hope we don't get to that point. I know there's still people that are still rolling down that train because they think they're going to be the few that are going to benefit. And for those of you who doubt, go back to 1961, a great year, in the Twilight Zone, and watch the episode of The Obsolete Man. And if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will, because we're living what that said almost 65 years ago. You're seeing it play out. I don't know how Rod Serling figured all this stuff out. But he definitely was driving way past the hood ornament. I can tell you that. Again, it's going to be just like today, it's going to be an interesting ride. The good news is you have the power within you to change it. The big question is, you got balls enough to do it. And it's really boils down to just that. That'll do it for today. As we usually say at this time, mandatory you're back here in 23 hours. Why? You're the best darn show in the whole wide world. Till then, see ya.
All right. Have a great night.
We'll see you.